It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Caitlin has a question. And to be honest, I kind of have this question too. So I'm interested to see what you guys say. She says, I currently have a 529 plan started for my 10-month-old, but I was wondering if you know of any other or better options for investing money for my child. I'm not opposed to a 529 plan. As you know, I've got a baby, and as we kind of approach step 8 of the financial order of operations, where we might start investing for him, we've talked about this, but with college being such an interesting topic right now, I've just thought, like, are there any other options? And I'd love to hear your case for, like, which one is the good one.
Caitlin, first of all, congratulations. And I do love that this is, it kind of resembles Rebia to a degree.
It does,
because she's got a young one in the house too. I love 529s for just, they have been supercharged over time because they started off as just college savings, but they now can do trade schools. They can do, K through 12 education. There's just so much opportunity with 529s. And if you're going to have multiple children, you can front end load the front, your oldest, and then pass them down. There's just a lot of flexibility. But I always do tell people that's not the only way. I feel like so many of our questions and answers are, what's the why? Mm-hmm. Why? You have to ask yourself, really be honest with yourself. What are you trying to save for? Because I know with both of my children, I knew I wanted to, because it's noble to want to get them through education without a lot of debt.
Sure.
So 529s was very important. But then I knew that I'm kind of crazy tightwaddish in some ways, and having daughters, that if I was going to do a wedding or something down the road, I probably better start doing $50 a month or $100 a month into a custodial account, just so there would be some pot of money for outside of education needs. So I did a custodial account. That's something you can do for the kids as well. All the big custodians, Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, they offer custodial accounts. If you still, I would probably prioritize education. And then the last thing that you hear people talk about is, and this one, if you go out there, the financial influencers, they do some crazy stuff like hire their kids to be models.
That comment literally just came in to do that.
So it's one of those things. I've always thought that was a little aggressive. Maybe it's because I've actually represented clients for audits on tax returns. I try to be on the right side of the government with the guns, who can just take your stuff. But it's so I didn't do custodial Roth accounts until my children actually had jobs. Now, Bo, you pick on me because I bring my youngest to work a lot, and she loves doing stuff around the office.
Looks
you're
to me like she's helping.
You are crazy that you're not putting her on the payroll here, but I don't do that
she's
yet.
She's putting in the hours, you know what I mean?
She is here helping on stuff. I probably should take advantage of that, but it was when my oldest, around 14, that I got serious when she started babysitting, and now she works at Chick-fil-A, and she's been funding that for a while. And I'm so happy that she's going to college with a 5-figure Roth IRA. I mean, if you go moneyguy.com/resources and go look at our money multiplier, holy cow, for a child 18 years of age having, over 5 figures in a Roth IRA, it's going to be tremendously valuable. And I also would encourage you, as your children, now look, you have a 10-month-old, so it's not like you can say, hey, here's the marshmallow test on a 10-month-old. It's not going to work yet. But I do encourage you, and Bo does a good job of talking about this, as your kids start getting a little more self-awareness about the tool of financial resources and money, start nurturing that, having skin in the game of understanding how money is a tool, so that they don't get to be 18 to 20 years of age and be like, what? How do I pay bills? What do I do here? Because part of your job as a parent is to challenge your children. But your question primarily is, where should you use your resources? And I still think 529 is the biggest priority.
Yeah, it's funny. I always wonder if your kids are listening to you. Yesterday we were driving home, and my 5-year-old, my daughter will be 5 tomorrow, my youngest, which is crazy. And she said, hey, Daddy, I want a chore. And I was like, okay, baby, what do you want to do? She goes, hey, I want to clean up your car, because she messes it up, right? And I was like, great, that sounds great. When we get home, you can clean my car. She goes, Daddy, will you give me money for it? And I was like, wait a second. You made but I'm kind of like part of me was a little bit proud. So I told her, hey, I'll give you $0.25 if you clean up my car. Best car wash ever had.
No inflation in that household.
So you know what I mean? So, but here's what I think I'm doing. You asked this question, are there better options for saving? It was a great deal.
Just for the content team, I want y'all to know, in all compensation discussions, I'm the lead. Not the guy giving $0.25 to his kid.
The whole team
but
is
it's
laughing
me.
at you
I just
right
want
now,
y'all to
though.
know that it's me because I'll flip you $0.25. Don't go all spin it in one place.
Do you know how happy she was? Oh, she was so excited. And then I had to talk to her about give, save, spend with a $0.25. So I did give her change.
That's gonna go a long way.
All right, but you asked the question, are there different ways to save? I am of the opinion college has to change, right? The pricing of college has to change. In my opinion, write this in your notebook in pencil if you're taking notes right now. But if college costs keep inflating and it's $500,000 to send a kid to college, supply and demand will drive it down. It can't stay that way. So here's what my wife have decided we're doing as it relates to saving college. We're not trying to hit 100% funding out of the 529s. We're trying to hit 75% of what we think funding will be so that we can save for college, but that also allows us to do the thing like Brian talks about. Open up an account where we can start saving for future cars, future weddings, future down payments, future whatever that thing might be. And then once it does make sense and they do start having some earned income, switch to custodial Roth. You said something so important, especially if you do have a kid who's 11, 12, 13, older. I think you got to start with money basics before you can get to the exciting stuff. You got to start with just general savings, how to, get money and save some of it. And then once they master savings, then move on to investing. And once they get the idea of investing, then talk about Roth IRA. If you throw it too much at them too soon, it just won't stick. I just find that's the case with young kids, young people. You got to start and slowly build that education through time. Pay to recorder.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Wow.
Okay, good answer, guys.
Of course,
Thanks.
I got, with that said, my daughter last night was asking me for something, and I said, don't make me feel bad. We might not be able to afford that. So I'm playing my own psychology games with my youngest too. So I under that forced scarcity.
Forced scarcity, man.